You know, at first I was kind of weary about working on these since I got asked to work on these models that we're going to be doing so sporadically. But when I read the rest of what I got sent in a message, I knew that I had to be the one to help. And even if this isn't going to be 100% the perfect thing, like it's not going to be absolutely 1000% perfect, um, it's still better to attempt to work on it than to just blow somebody off or be disrespectful to somebody like a lot of other people have been to this person. So hi, if you don't know me, my name is Bungle Scrungle. I've been working with MMD and PMX Editor for over 10 years at this point. Possibly longer, but at this point, it's too long to keep track, and I don't really care. But today, what we are going to be doing, we are going to be helping out someone who came to me for help with models. Their name is Okami Fangs. Now, I've seen some of their deviations before. They have this really pretty Flora one that has, I believe, a model from Maxor or Maxim on it. I'm not entirely sure what their name is, but it's a very pretty model of Stella from the Wings Club. If I said Flora, I'm sorry. That is not Flora. Flora is my favorite, not the kids. Anyways, here's what all this says. Hi, I couldn't help, but after seeing the quality of some of your works, I was wondering if you could help me with a little something. Hope you don't mind me asking, of course. It's about these three models. This is actually a Totally Spies pack, which, I'm happy that the models finally got ripped. They all shared these same problems. Deformed eyelashes due to them not being in the right position. You can see right here, the eyelashes need to be moved down a little bit. And you can also see them with all of the characters. So these all have the same exact problem. Why is her hair blue? Her hair, like, I feel like her hair should be a little darker. This is my first time properly seeing the models, so yeah, I'll show you this really quick. Yas, slay. Models is from Max and R. They do such a great job with Wings Club, dude. With Wings Club shit, dude, I swear. Anyways, when the eyelash of the original Blender Mile model looks like this. Okay. Oh yeah, no, that looks a lot better. Weird. I really do like the models, though. They're super expressive. Clover, stop it. You're gonna get us thrown in jail again. What are you doing? So the MMD models should look like that, but unfortunately they don't. Eyes not blinking well because of the eyelash problem. So for these, since they all have the same problem, we're only gonna look at Sam's. Oh. That's just an issue with morphs themselves. I don't know if I'm that good at this yet to do morph fixing kind of stuff. I've recently, like in the last couple of years, gotten to the point where I can actually combine morphs together, but that's not the same as completely fixing a morph. Anyways, other eye expressions not working well, or as well, due to the eyelashes. Okay. I see. Okay. So there's a chance that they just have to be moved down a little bit, and we'll see what we can do with it. I asked SAB64, the person who ported them, but he literally told me to fix them myself, and I tried to follow some advice. Let's see what we got sent. If you want to fix them, learn how. The error in facial morphs can be corrected simply by slightly moving the eyelashes. It's necessary to change the weight of the belt as well as the neck. Okay, so that's actually very helpful to me, since I unfortunately know what I'm doing. But I say unfortunately because sometimes I do get asked for help, and a lot of times it's like, I don't know if this is a real person or not, but being that I've actually seen this person's stuff before, yeah, they're real. But you know what's worse? First of all, I couldn't separate the goddamn eyelashes because they're glued to the head. In the screenshot appears Sam's model, but the three models have the same issue. Let me see this. Okay. Eyes, chibi. We'll look at all of this when we get into PMX ourselves. Second, when it comes to adding motions and poses, every time they crouch, their belt sinks into their stomachs. Okay, that's very slight where that needs to be fixed, actually, I think. I think it's more so that SAB64 was the one who ripped these, correct? Well, when he did it, I think what he did was that he tried to make it like how you do with like with like skirt belts, where it's like you try to have it where they're folding instead of like sinking in, but sometimes that doesn't really work, especially not with MMD since the shit is very finicky. And even if I tried to change the weight of the belt, there was nothing. Nada. At least I think I managed to solve Alex and Sam's next problems, sort of, but in Clover's case, not only does she have a problem with the eye facials because of the lashes, and her belt sinking when crouches, but her neck keeps being buggy as well, and I couldn't be able, so this is probably I haven't been able to fix that one since she didn't have much updates compared to the other two. Poor Clover. Okay. Oh, okay, I see. The only thing that really should be done with this, we need to see how drastic it is, and then this part can probably be shrunk down, because you can obviously tell right here is not the same material as the jumpsuit, so that should be easy. I love Totally Spies. Same, and it was one of my favorite shows growing up, and it would be a shame to let these models go to waste. That's why, after so many, but many attempts, I decided to look for help. And this is when I got annoyed and decided that I need to work on these. And of course, due to the show mostly known by the internet for the wrong reasons, mainly because of the fetish shit that people find later on in life, but, you know, the show isn't made for us adults, it's made for kids, so, you know, doing shit like that, it's funny. It's funny making chicks fat, or making them into cat girls, or doing, like, any of these other things. I get that much. But when you're an adult, anything can be a fetish. I know people who like left eyes, and left eyes exclusively. That is a fucking fetish. My community's gonna be like, you don't know what you're talking about again, you were the wrong way with the furry shit too. I'm like, shut up. Anyways, most of the people told me that they didn't want to, oh, sorry, I liked it because it reminded me of Winx, but with more fights and cool gadgets. Winx fell off a fucking cliff. And I'll probably never make a video about that, but holy shit. Most of the people told me that they didn't want to get involved, or directly insulted me. Right here. Right here was when I was like, yeah, it's time. It's time for a person to finally step up and act professional. Even if I act like a fucking goofball and a complete nincompoop on stream, I still wanted to do this just because it's like, someone fucking has to. One of them even had the nerve to tell me, I like anime girls more than Western women. I have a question about this, because I've been on the fence about, like, if this comes from French Canada, or if this comes from France. If it comes from France, doesn't that consider it to be, like, an Eastern animated show? Unfortunately, like Miraculous, Toei still should have never jumped out with them, just fucking saying, dude. Goddamn. That still pisses me off. I feel like if Miraculous was done in the Toei art style, and was done in Japanese, no one would give two flying fucks about it, but because it's cringy, and the dub is cringy, and the animation looks like shit, Ruby looks like it was better, no shit, and that most of the time was done in MMD, tangent over. Just shut up. Anyways, like, what the fuck? I just only asked for help because I want to use them in dancing animations, just like Riona and Crayfish do in their channels. I love their MMD animations. Isn't Crayfish, like, the one that Iron Mouse goes to do stuff? Man, you are looking up to some crazy motherfuckers, dude. Holy shit. It's like, you got the standard MMDer, and then you got the person who's working with the VTubers. That shit's nuts. I don't even know who the fuck Riona is. I follow Hutariwap. That motherfucker is a Chad. But hey, you can decline if you want to. I don't want to because you keep getting fucking shat on by other people. I'm not going to force you to help me or anything, and neither am I going to be mad. I'm tired and out of energy, but I don't want to give up yet. But could you at least take a look at them, pretty please? By the way, I'm going to go catch some sleep, so good night. And what I sent back to them, I'll look at these later today and see what I can do. And that's right now, because I genuinely just want to see if there's more problems with these. Usually, when it's tiny problems, it's not that big of a deal to just go in and, like, move some stuff around really quick, fix up some, you know, it's not even physics at this point. I think it's mainly just weights, and then just see what else needs to be done and get back to them and tell them what we're gonna do, or tell them what we have done. at this point. Hi. After video Bungle, reporting for duty. So I didn't include this small little bit, but SAB64 is the one that ripped these, and I do usually really like his rips, but, I don't get why the fuck he would ever put out something that was this screwed up. Like, obviously, it's not where, like, the bones are noodling all over the place and it's making the model just unusable entirely, but these are tiny issues that other MMDers will nitpick people over in both their images and their videos that they see with these models. So, why the hell would you put out a model for public download, by the way, that has the eyelashes screwed up and has it so that the belt looks weird when it's being tucked in? Obviously, I don't think I would have that much problem with the belt, but every person is different. I get it. There were also issues with the neck. This is like first grade shit. What the fuck are we doing, Ripper dude? And of course, these shouldn't have had issues just because of the fact that usually when you're ripping models from games, I gotta remember to swallow. Usually when you're ripping models from games, they have set bones already. They have parameters that they're already set to where you don't have to reweigh stuff down. Like you see in Totally Spies models, they are skin tight suits, and there are things that are skin tight to them. So everything should be rigged perfectly fine. You shouldn't be having issues with the neck, and you definitely should not be having issues with the eyelashes. That just doesn't make sense. That tells me that something went wrong, and they know that something went wrong, and they just straight up don't care because they don't give a fuck about Totally Spies. Which is understandable. We're all adults here. We can see kind of the weird shit that happens sometimes. I'm not saying it's all weird, but you start being able to pinpoint shit once you turn a certain age and you start making innuendos all the fucking time. Hagigi. But besides that point, I would have never put out something like this, so I am deadass shocked that SAB64 put out something like this. Because usually, like I said, I like their rips. Usually they're doing Sonic shit, and I really like their Sonic stuff. But, you know, you lost a star from me there, SAB. I'm so sorry. I still stand you as, like, a top tier model ripper because, like, you go and get it from other places. You only pay to have the commission of making the model work in MMD done, and then you make everything public. I really like that. I think that's an awesome thing to do when it comes to this ripping situation shit. Don't be dumb and put it behind a paywall. Like, don't be dumb and put the model behind a paywall. That's when you start being that fucking Carlos dude, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do everything out of spite, because fuck that. Bang Dreamers, if you know, you know. But just seeing that this went out with issues that were visual issues. Toilet. Right in the fucking toilet. Sorry I didn't add that in the video, but, sometimes I like seeing more than 280p on a fucking camera. So, we're gonna open up the PC view. Hi. And I already have PMX open if you haven't been able to tell. So I have not looked at any of these yet. I have undone the zip file. Don't ask about Cure Lillian. We're gonna look at Alex first. So we're gonna look at the fix attempt versions of these. Oh my lord. Where are the links in the bones? Oh, there they are. They're literally invisible because Alex's jumpsuit is the same fucking color on the inlet. Oh my god, okay. Yeah, this shouldn't be bowing like that, should it be? I don't feel like it should be. Why did they give them ass? Alright, let's go ahead and look at the test view first. You got a pretty mouth there. Okay, that's enough. So, apparently the issue is with her eyes. You can see it right here. Her eyelashes. So that would be... Yep, you can see that's having some problems still as well, okay. And then also, with when she bends. So... You grab this one? Oh. I also see some issue that I don't think that you pointed out. It also does that in the back as well. I mainly only noticed it in the front. But... Let me see this. We're gonna do it from spine 1. Okay, so here is a problem too. I feel like these models would work better, and of course you can correct me if you're wrong when you see this, and hopefully you do, but I feel like this would be better, especially like in the movement aspect of it. If this was just weighed down to spine 1, that's what this bone is right now, entirely just spine 1. I made her look like a chicken. So we're gonna do that, and you also said that you ended up fixing a neck problem on these. Okay, I don't see any issues with the neck. Cluck cluck. Fair enough. Okay. So, let me go ahead and see this. Because that means that I only have 2 issues to work on with each of these. And that's a lot more than I have to do with Bang Dream, so I'm more willing to do this, not gonna lie. Okay, so they have body, the suit metal, gloves, head, eyes chibi, question mark, hair, brown line, eye line, blush line, and blush stickers? What the fuck does that even mean? We don't need on any of the bones. That's a big thing we do not need right now. We're not fucking with any bone manipulation right now, and when we do, it's gonna just be for weighing. We don't need to move the bones. So, we're gonna make this full screen since I'm not doing anything else. And let's just go ahead and see what we can pull up. Let me see this. So we're gonna do that, body, suit. Suit metal should be... Okay, so suit metal is the entire belt. So I'm gonna do the belt first. And then, like, only the bottom part is probably gonna be attached to the lower bone off of that. And I'll do that testing first, since that is a lot easier to do. So let's get to that. So let's see. Yeah, you see how so much of this is just connected down here, whereas I don't feel like it should be, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna make sure that all this is like this, because none of that is touching up here. There we go. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go a little bit lower, and I'm going to do this. That'll make it so that that sticks there. Because usually when you see belts, usually the back of the belt's sticking. At least that's what I've seen in like model rips and stuff like that that I've done. But it's kind of a to each their own type of situation. So we're going to do that right now. Okay, so the only issue that I have now, I might not be able to do this. It is a thing that can happen where it's like, okay, I'm ready to go. Now there's more problems, because there's extra stuff underneath this, which is very surprising. I think this is actually a game rip from a video game, so the fact that there's actually anything underneath where the belt is, that's surprising. Then again, this was a console game, so they're unfortunately better optimized a lot of times than, you know, the shitty little games that we're usually ripping from. Good times. Anyways, the thing that you can mainly see here right now is that the belt is now no longer doing that. However, you are still going to have a clip in. That's expected. You have to remember, with this type of belt, this is stupid. I'm going to go on a tiny bit of a tangent really quick, so I'm going to shut off the bone so that she doesn't look fucking creepy. Something that everyone always kind of overlooks, because MMD is MMD, is that if you want things to look accurate, you have to take the kind of clothes and the material that's made of those clothes into some type of consideration. For example, the belt that they got is made out of metal. Metal does not bend. So, when you see this type of thing happen, it's not happening because of an issue. It's mainly happening because they're not really made to move like this. The belt should definitely be situated higher so that this ISS math, so that this issue does not happen. There's also now issue because I messed with stuff of this happening, so I'm not going to be saving this. But I can show you exactly what you need to do. It's doing some extra weighing on the belt. It's reweighing the neck for Clover. Attempt to get as close as possible to what you were doing with Alex and Sam, and you should pretty much be able to do that. But for the most part, I don't want to ruin these more for you, and I feel like I will completely accidentally ruin them. Another thing that you may actually want to think of doing, because you can see a lot of outlines on here and everything like that too, is to go in here and just shut off the outlines. There's no reason to have the edges. And see, that already looks a lot nicer. You still have the gapping because we haven't messed with the eyelashes yet, but it doesn't look as bad. You have to remember this one thing as well. There are times when outlines are good, and there are times when outlines are bad. I'm not going to be saving this, obviously, but we will now go in and look at the issue with these said eyelashes, because this has really been confusing me. What do you mean that the eyelashes are stuck? So we have her head. Okay. Now my question is, okay, these are not a painted on texture. Okay. So what you do, you go in with the face, and you X. Oh, that's stupid. This is why I don't like this crap. You can do it one of two ways. You can either say fuck it and just use it the way that they are, or you could take every single one of these, hit face, truncate, yes, and then turn that off in the vertex viewer. Ugh. Yeah, this isn't even done really well. Okay. So I will not lie to you. I have other things that I want to do. And for me, this isn't in my repertoire of things that I feel comfortable doing, mainly because of the fact that I feel like I'm going to ruin the model more than you are. If it is personal use, I know this sounds douchey, and I'm not meaning to sound like a dick at all, but if it's personal use, and if the person who put out the model is not willing to budge even a little bit to make their work better, you're going to have to get better yourself. And I know it sounds stupid. I know it sounds dumb. I know I sound like I'm parroting the same shit that other people were telling you. But in reality, that's really the only way that you get better at this kind of stuff. It's easy to learn the tips and the tricks, 1000%. Weighing stuff down can either be super easy or super finicky, depending on what you're working with. Belts usually are not that hard. That belt, what you can do for it is, if you don't really care, just completely weigh it down to the first spine bone, which is the one that's in Japanese text before the other two that are named exactly the same that say 2 and 3. My hand doesn't want to work, but you know what I mean. And, of course, with the eyelash thing, I explained that. It's going to take a lot of work to even get all of that separated in the first place. And that's without even mentioning if the morphs themselves are screwed up. I don't 100% know. To me, it just straight up looks like it is an issue with the eyelashes being too high up. But there could also have been something that happened during conversion that made that happen. Because usually you don't have it where you're ripping something and the eyelashes are just too high. Like, that just doesn't happen. At least not in the games that I've ripped for. I've mainly ripped for Project Sakai and for Bang Dream Girls Band Party. If you can't tell by my DeviantArt page, of course. And those don't have those issues. The most issue I think I've had is that Bang Dream Girls Band Party has their morphs all separated, so you have to put them together properly. And that's a pain in the ass for me, but I still do it because, you know, I'm the repository for Bang Dream models. It just happens. But of course, like I said, if you really do want to use these yourself, I hate to tell you this, you're gonna have to go through the litmus test of doing this shit. And it sucks, I know, because you have to do it 6 separate times for 3 different... you have to do it 6 separate times, 3 different girls, 6 eyelashes. I know that. At that point, I know it sucks. But, you know what? If you really want to get into it, I would recommend maybe going and getting some different faces. I know it sounds rude. It sounds disrespectful to the original model rip. But sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. And if you don't want to spend all your fucking time doing that, it's like, oh, I don't have 2 hours to do this. Because sometimes, depending on if you screw up or not, or if PMX decides to start being dumb, it could take over 2 hours to do some of this stuff sometimes. And like I said, I'm sorry that I can't 100% help you out with this, but, you know, I have other stuff in my life I have to do. I'm a parent. I need to make sure that everything in my house is taken care of. Furnace is fucked up right now, so I'm antsy as fuck about that. And really, my eyes are more focused on doing other projects right now, so I unfortunately can't help. But I do feel like maybe some people in our community may be able to help you, because a lot of people in our community are MMDers. Yes, I do also run an MMD channel, very shocking, but that's not the point. The point is, we have people that may be able to help, but I'm not 100% sure if they're even going to want to or not. Some of them can be catty, I will admit that, and other ones just have other shit to do because they actually have lives. Very shocking for anyone that's on the internet, but still same difference. So, I'll leave my Discord link in the description, as usual. It's at the bottom of my description area, and if you want to get other help from other people that are in our community, or you want to just try and do it yourself while having advice to it, you can come in, and if not, that's entirely your choice. I'm sorry that I mainly made this a video, but, you know, I feel like it was easier to explain it on a video than to just, you know, send you, I can't do it, because at least I'm telling you why I can't, more so than just putting up a blanket excuse of, I can't do this. So that's pretty much it. I'm still so sorry that I can't help, but right now, I have to go and rip bang dream models because I've lost control of my life. There's a lot of them. I'll see everyone who watched this next time. I actually have to edit a video for once. I'm miserable.